Just the Volume 4 theme. That would be great. Thank you, my dear. That's the one. I like that. Hello, RWBY fans. Welcome to another edition of the RWBY After Show on AFTERBUZZ TV. Tonight we are talking about Volume 4, Chapter 4, Family, as well as the world of Remnant, Faunus. We've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about tonight. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I don't think I will never get tired of this song.
It's so anime!
I would say it couldn't get more anime if they tried, but I keep saying that about this show, and it keeps getting more anime.
I love this live show that we're getting. Thank you, Alexis.
Thank you, Alexis.
It's a full-on party in here tonight. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the RWBY After Show on AFTERBUZZ TV. I'm your host, Megan Salinas. You guys can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. Let me introduce my fantastic panel. To my left, Mark Donica.
Hello, everybody. I am the Internet's Mark B. Donica. You can find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica, jealous of P to the D's, who's currently at the Game Awards watching some live metal from Doom. I just flippin' love it. But we're not alone. To my left, we have the one and only Mrs. Stacey Shuttleworth.
Hi guys, I am Stacey Shuttleworth. I'm happy to be back. You can find me online on Instagram and Twitter at Stacey Shuttles, or online all over the web at Nerds Doing Stuff. And to my left, we have Katie Cullen.
Hi, all my buddies. You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. We have the hashtag RWBYABTV. We are the only hashtag that's like that because we were first.
Because we're best.
And we have the live chat, as everyone who's in the live chat already knows. Hey guys, we love you. So if you have something fun to say, throw in the hashtag, throw in the live chat. You may well get a shout out.
So, yeah, guys, we, obviously, while we were gone in the 2-week interim, Thanksgiving happened.
It did.
And what a
We all
very,
ate a bird.
Yeah, what a very, we all had turkey fists. That's the tradition here.
We actually had turducken fists.
Really?
We had a Friendsgiving where we had a turducken. It was
That's
pretty
awesome.
sweet.
How did that go?
Pretty great.
I've never tried
That's
a
like
turducken. Are
food
they good?
inception, and I'm never sure
Foodception.
what to make of it.
My wife and her maid of honor are amazing. They deboned a turkey, a chicken, and a duck. It was pretty remarkable. But
Wow.
yeah, triple fists.
That's fantastic.
That's a video.
That's a lot of fisting.
Well, that's a video podcast moment for our audio listeners.
I'm just gonna step away from that one.
Thanks, Dad.
Yep, that's me. You may be surprised how I got in this situation.
I'm just gonna step away from that and say how fitting it is that we had Thanksgiving right around the same time that the episode Family aired, because what epitomizes Thanksgiving other than awkward family reunions? So just initial thoughts on these episodes that we're covering tonight.
I was gonna say, on the episodes or on my awkward family reunion?
Oh, we'll talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. I want initial thoughts, and then we want to get to awkward family reunion stuff.
What good episodes. I am so happy. I love that we got the good family, and then we contrasted it with the nuclear ticking time bomb of a family. Holy cow. Two halves of Yang's family, as it is.
Yeah,
Yeah?
sure.
My dad's
We'll
a
go
good
there.
human being, and her mom sucks.
We'll talk about that a little bit more later. Mark, thoughts?
Yes. I'm sad that in this episode about family, we only got Yang's side. While we have been pretty RWBY heavy for the first part of the season, we're only 4 episodes in. But the fact that we have been the fact that we've been mostly RWBY heavy, she's been away from her family for the first time in a long time, and the fact that we only had the connecting thread of what Raven's been doing with RWBY, indirectly or directly. I just wish we would have gotten more about that, but I'm happy that we learned more about Yang's side as well.
Stacey?
Well, I will be the first to say I think I severely underestimated Yang, and I'm very, very happy about that.
Yeah, I thought, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, but I thought it was going to be a little bit more of a slow burn in terms of her story and how long that took. But yeah, I mean, the crux of this episode is all about family and the way families happen to deal with the various issues that come up. And again, given the nature of this episode, I want to know, what is your guys' most awkward family reunion?
Well, when I lost my arm, no.
And you had to get an auto mail one to replace it.
It's been pretty cool.
Yas.
Yep. Solid yas from the booth. There's no funny story about this except for it brought me and my cousins closer around the holidays. Was anytime my aunts and uncles, and we have a pretty big family, start talking about politics. My mom, since it's usually at our house for the Christmas stuff, she usually shoots a look at me and my brother like, take the kids, get them out of here. I'll try to shut them up as fast as I can, and we go into the other room and we play Smash Brothers. So it ends up turning into a nice thing, but it's always like, not here, all right, just take them away.
Right,
Just get them out of here.
Time to clear out for
Clear
a
out.
minute.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I feel like this one's kind of awkward still in retrospect. One of our family get-togethers turned into my cousin and I roughhousing a little too hard, and she hit her head and we ended up in the ER for stitches. And her mom, she spent a lot. She would make it very clear that she blamed me for it for a while. And of course now she's over it, but I think she'll still bring it up every so often. I'm sorry. We were like 6. I didn't.
You see, that happened to my older brother and my little brother, but we laugh about it. He had half a dozen staples in his head for a few weeks, and that's just kind of it happens. I have 3. 2 are one-liners, and 1 is an actual, honest-to-goodness funny story. One-liner number 1, I saw my older brother for the first time in 5 years this Thanksgiving, so that happened. One-liner number 2, the last big family reunion on my mom's side we had, I got laid off via email the first day I was there. So that I found myself unable to enjoy it, and I'm no longer at that job, and good. Reunion number 3 was more of an introduction. We were in Ireland meeting with my, I believe, second cousins, and they pick us up at this nice little airport, and it wasn't Cork, was it?
It was Westport.
Kerry?
But yeah, I don't remember
But
what
I don't think Westport itself has an airport. It was close to that.
Wherever the nearest airport to Westport was.
Tiny little Irish airport, and they pick us up, and they're like, okay, so which one of you is Catherine? I'm like, that's me. I'm like, okay. How are we related again? Like, God bless you. Okay, my dad is Thomas Leo, his cousin is Thomas Charles, and Thomas Charles is your cousin. Oh, okay. And they look at you. Are you Irish? This is like the 4th time I've talked to them, and the 4th time I've explained how we're related over the phone. So
I think they waited to ask if I was Irish until we sat down to eat. They held off on the immediate interrogation.
They were very wonderful. They were absolutely wonderful, but it was one of those, we've already had this conversation.
The literal first conversation was, are you sure we're family? That's funny. For me, I can probably sum it up with just Thanksgiving. Not necessarily this Thanksgiving, but usually once a Thanksgiving, there's something going on. I will say though that like actual family reunion was the first time I went to go visit all of my cousins in Texas. We decided to have a slumber party for a couple of the girl cousins who were about the same age. One of my cousins tried to, like, in the dark when everybody was asleep, although like I hadn't fallen asleep yet, one of my cousins decided it would be funny to draw on my face with a permanent marker. So in the middle of the night, I feel someone staring at me and standing over me. And I'm like, what? And I turn, and there's this silhouette of one of my cousins holding a Sharpie like this and proceeds to try to fight me to draw on my
Cousin
face.
Norman?
They just backed down when they realized you were awake.
Cousin Jason.
She went for it. I'm like, why are you trying to stab me in the face with a marker? That's not cool. We've known each other for 12 hours.
A better way to test it.
Alexis in the booth says her first family reunion was a food fight.
Hashtag turkey fists.
Hashtag turkey fists.
turkey fists.
All right, let's talk about this episode. I want to start off, obviously, talking about Oscar. We get a name for the farm boy.
Indeed.
And
Oscar.
Now, here's the question.
All.
Here's the question. Ozpin, is he manifesting himself in the mirror dimension? Did he forget his sling ring? Like, is that what happened? Or is his, like, was he, like, physically destroyed and his spirit is now, like, kind of inhabiting this kid's consciousness? What's happening here?
Get him a sling ring.
Yeah,
It's that second one. That's. I mean, we've been told the story of how the power of the maidens manifests itself in new hosts after their physical forms are done with. And in the case of Oz, if the theories are correct that he is the farmer, maybe with him, since he is the host of that power, it's a little bit different. It's not just the power itself, but the consciousness that goes and finds a new host. That's what I've been thinking the whole time. What about y'all?
So he's doing the Force Ghost thing then.
No, he's physically a part, or not metaphysically a part of Oscar. So when Oscar looks in the that's why he's like, why is my hair doing this? Because it's Oz's flip from on the top of his head. So he's like, oh, that's weird. And then I figure since we didn't see the mirror, Oz appeared as him. And that's like, holy crap, I'm a man.
An old man with glasses.
It would be a jarring thing to wake up to.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, going theory is that he might be Joseph, or Joseph in the Coat of Many Colors, namely because of the sash that he's got.
Okay,
But
so
we just
Or the Fourth
don't
Doctor.
know.
but here's the
Jelly
thing.
baby.
What are we looking at a character that has a possible connection to the Wizard of Oz lore? If he's Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat,
Becca Dearkin in chat says Oscar is the name of the wizard in the Wizard of Oz book series.
okay then.
It's all coming together.
Perfect.
Okay.
And there's also I'm not as familiar with the book, unfortunately, but it's also he's on his aunt's farm, much like Dorothy was in the films and in the original story.
Oh
so
gosh, could
there's
you?
something there.
Oh gosh, yeah. He's probably just waiting for a tornado to sweep him away to a
Probably.
world of color and
I
golden
think
roads.
he's going to be begrudgingly in this for like 2 or 3 seasons until he finally accepts it. He's like, Oz is going to like pull his body in one direction and they're going to be like odd couple over a body.
Oh,
he's like,
God.
I hate being here! Like fire, time, magic.
They did establish early on with Klein that, yeah, they can have like multiple consciousnesses in one body in this particular world. So
I want Klein's story though, because I want to know if that's natural or if that is something that occurred.
yeah,
Capital O
there's clearly a
occurred.
story there.
Right. Well, and especially now that we're kind of potentially seeing that with Cinder too.
Yeah, with the Fall Maiden and whatever parasite might be kind of inside her at the
So do you just acquire it? Can you be born naturally with it?
You see what Malachroma just said?
I
The
did
rainbow
not
rag
know.
could be a reference to somewhere over the rainbow.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's so great. Okay,
nice.
so and that's the thing is the wizard. I mean, technically,
Was a fraud.
I know, what is that suggesting?
here's the thing: is that if you want to look at it from a technical standpoint, Oz and the man behind the curtain were 2 different things. There was the on-stage presence, and then there was of course the man behind the curtain who was a charlatan, who was
The
just
illusion and the
who
jerk.
who was just a normal guy. So yeah, the idea that Ruby has taken the wizard and the regular person and kind of created 2 different characters for that, I kind of like that. I really like that as like a theory. I like the idea of him also being like manifesting in I want us to be in the mirror dimension.
No, but really cool. What if he manifested himself in the mirror as a giant head?
I would love that. And he's just a floating
And
head in the
he's just
mirror
a giant
head.
floating head.
Because he
Whatever
is
for Oscar.
ahead of the game.
I love High School Musical.
Gotta get your head in the game. Boo.
I actually hate it. But anyway, I'm here.
We did that for Songfest. I know
here
that
for
song
jokes.
better than I should.
Let's get some basketballs in here.
But I mean, for what, like a minute of screen time, there's like a lot to unpack, like right then and there, just
Yeah.
about what happened to Oz, and are we gonna get answers to that anytime soon?
I wonder if we're not just going to get little teeny piecemeal scenes throughout the rest of the season.
I wouldn't be
Like,
surprised.
here's your 35 seconds. On to the rest of the show.
Now, does this mean that Oscar can have access to Ozpin's powers, or is Oz just be like, you have a destiny, you have to go and help these kids that I clearly failed to mentor properly? Like, could you just do that, or like you have to stop the maidens? What is the story here?
Oz Indian chat says he should have quit while he was ahead. I like you. I like you.
Thank you, Alexis. Thoughts?
Well, I think that kind of would have to start going into, is Oz the original farmer, or is he someone who it has passed on to? And so does it kind of manifest in someone and then they use their own innate powers, or is that the power that everyone who, becomes the farmer?
Now, here's another question too. If Ozpin was the original farmer, does the farmer's personality overwrite the new host?
Yeah, or is it kind of like a new person just with
Or did they just get the powers?
Like an Agent Smith situation?
Does that mean that
Kinda.
Ozpin has had a voice in the back of his head this whole time?
I mean, it could.
In my day, I did it like that. Shut up, I'm trying to talk to my students.
I don't know. I mean, again, we've got a lot of questions.
Let's open up that can of worms.
Okay, so first of all, we're spending a lot of time on
Yes.
a 45-second part of the
we
episode.
should move on, but do you have any final thoughts on it?
They keep giving us a little bit more, just from the first segment to this segment with the sweet water animation. I'm hoping the next time will be a little bit longer.
Yeah, I hope we get a little, because this episode was a very exposition-heavy episode for character building, so it would be nice to hear Ozpin's voice and get a little bit of an explanation of what happened to him. Because, again, lots of questions.
We need some information.
we need... You have some explaining to do, good
We are
sir.
working on literally nothing right
Yeah.
now. This is where AUs are built, and then later on in the season is where AUs are broken. So let's see.
Or confirmed sometimes.
Occasionally.
Usually broken.
Sliced into
Anyway,
quarters.
let's move on to Yang's side of the story, because we open up with this awful nightmare. And given the way this we start with the dream sequence and everything like that, I did not think that, as you said, Stacey, that she, by the end of it, that she was going to be ready to get back into the game. Just having this heart-to-heart with Port and Oobleck and her dad, I kind of thought it was going to be a literal, something forcing her to be like, okay, time to get back to it.
Yeah, to see her kind of naturally come down and just be ready to kind of open up about it, especially when they ask her point blank about it. I was like, okay, she's gonna shut down right now. That's it.
And we had a comment. It's in the hashtag somewhere. There's this moment where Tai Yang says you probably lost some brain cells along with that arm of yours, and the room just goes silent. And just,
I need to go look at everyone's reaction videos for this, because I'm pretty sure they were to do it in the
We see
doing that.
we see Peter Port's eyes for the very first time.
Yeah.
Very tiny.
Just one of those. Oh, I cannot believe
It is a literal jaw-dropping moment.
It is, and especially since we really don't know Tai Yang that well yet, so it's like, what just happened? Did he just lay into his kid without any
And literally
consideration?
everyone in the room is shocked, and for a moment there, I wasn't sure if this was gonna erupt, if she was gonna cry, and even
She was
when
going to go Super Saiyan
even
again?
when she punched him and said, "Oh, you jerk," and they played it off as playful, I'm like, are you laughing so that you don't cry?
Well, I
don't know how to feel about this.
I think we're finally learning about the home life between Yang and Tai Yang, and where Yang gets her humor from. And her cold, sometimes biting humor comes directly from her dad. So I think
she
that's
does
also
do a lot of dad jokes.
That's a sign from her, I think, that things are going back to normal. Is if dad can joke about it, why can't I?
Yeah.
This is and she brings it up. This is normal now. So
Yeah.
Well, and you talk different. You speak differently to different people.
If anybody else had said that, it would have been a terrible thing to say.
Awful.
Well, and you're with your friends and you'll just tell them something that you would obviously never say to your parents, and you say it in jest because, hey, it's your friends, you swear at each other, whatever, it's fine. I say that in front of my parents, and they're like, what? So it's that same kind of idea. She has this relationship with her dad, and it can be a little shocking to other people, but they know each other well enough that, oh, okay, we're back to situation normal, at least on that level. We're back to being candid.
And you were speaking on Twitter. Adrian Ruiz Martinez using the hashtag RubyABTV. Taeyang's joke made me say, dude, like 100 times. Pause and go out for a walk.
Well,
Yeah.
And the only reason I exclaimed dude is because there are 3 exclamation points after it.
And
So
it's
cheers.
in all capitals.
And it's in all caps.
Yeah.
Adrian Ruiz Martinez, thank you for taking part in
Yeah.
the hashtag.
I mean, again, but that aside, it's so nice to see Port Newblick again. I was concerned about
Like
that.
what you
was-
see?
well, 'cause
Crow
it
in a
was kind
skirt.
of
God bless.
Goodman.
God
Yep.
bless.
why couldn't we-
Thank you, Ty.
Why couldn't we have gotten a flashback?
I think we'll get a World of Remnant
I
about
hope
his
we
legs.
get one. Just a whole one. dedicated.
You know
legs.
it would be done in animated adventure style if we got that flashback. And I would love it. I would love
That would
it.
be beautiful.
Yeah, just if Ty, Port, and Ooblik did their own podcast.
Oh, God. I mean, I think that trio has been definitely on a podcast before.
Of course they
Yeah.
have. Like, again, it's
Like a
Bernie
patch or
telling a
something.
funny story.
Yeah.
That's something that's very normal to hear in a Rooster Teeth anything.
And
Very
it's
true.
Bernie, Ryan, and Joel. They've
Exactly. That's one of the reasons why I enjoyed this scene so much up until like that moment, and then it's like, oh, okay, this got serious. We're joking about it, but like, I don't know. What? And how do you guys feel about her response of like, I'm scared. I'm scared to take that next step forward. Like, how do you guys feel about that?
That was more candid and more progress than I was expecting.
Way more. Yeah, I
I
agree.
mean, we mentioned at the last show, one of my predictions was that she wasn't going to touch the arm for a couple episodes, and
Yeah.
she came to it pretty quick. But I think with the help of both her dad and authority figures that she respects, and now see her as a peer, like she came to realize that she had to change.
Well, there was also the implication that she was holding her dad back from
Yeah.
going to help Ruby, and that Ruby could potentially be by herself in danger somewhere, because they don't know who she's with. They have no idea right now.
Yeah.
There's no communication between
No.
continents because we built in no redundancies.
Yeah,
I will never let that
I really
go.
like that moment of, they're like, hey, why haven't you gone out to look for Ruby? Well, I have to be here. I have to take care of things. And that's the moment where she's like, and that's, she clutches her
Yeah.
arm and she's like, I have to move forward.
That was the big motivation.
Well, and she's the big sister. She should be taking care of her younger sister, and her younger sister's out kicking ass and taking names, and she's like, oh.
And they don't know that,
They have no
you
idea.
know.
So they don't
Yeah.
even know that she is being guarded by Crow or any
Yeah,
any
they've
of the
got-
safe
They've
protections.
got literally
Nothing.
nothing to
Yeah.
go on.
But I do think, sort of sticking to my original prediction in a way where, because she begrudgingly put on the arm, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think that the arm is the final solution.
Yeah.
Especially given the art that we've seen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Badass in that coat and that stomp.
Well, and the thing is that clearly, again, Adam is still very much in the shadows of both her mind and, in a literal sense, probably going to be sending people to take her out in some capacity. And I still think that the two Faunus we see in the opening are going to come after her, and it's only when they start attacking her that she's going to fully accept the arm as a part of her now and be able to, like, use it as an effective weapon. That's my thought.
See that.
See, and those two Faunus seem a little too well put together to me to be White Fang.
I
Because a
don't
lot of
know,
the White
man.
Fang we've seen, they're either in those very specific uniforms or in very casual clothes. These two look like they're in uniforms for something completely different.
Speaking to that and kind of talking a little bit about the world of Remnant, is they mention, it's sort of in effect, or Crow mentions sort of in a way what led to the rise of the White Fang. And they could be a part of Menagerie's defense force
Yeah.
that are in with the White Fang as secret agents.
Or
essentially.
they're the Faunus equivalent of the Assassin's Creed. We
Yeah,
don't know.
whatever.
Still got lots of options.
Yeah.
We know nothing about
Remnant
them,
is
just
a
their
big
placement
kingdom.
in the opening.
That little
Just that little snippet.
That's our bit.
Okay, do we have any other final thoughts on Yang's side of the story this time around?
Let's get started.
I want skirt
Yeah.
fan art. I need it in my life. I also need to see vermin Faunus because those would be horrifying.
They carry famine and disease.
Can you imagine mice faunus, rat faunus, not faunus, I'm so sorry. Oh, God, Grim.
Grim.
I'm losing my mind.
Mickey ears.
Yeah, little cutie ones.
But yeah, mice Grim, rat Grim, squirrel Grim.
Oh, dude, but as a faunus, imagine having a rat tail. That would be heavy as hell and great for combat.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot what I was gonna say, so never mind.
Caught up in the rat tail.
Yeah, a little bit. Most people are.
Happens.
Okay, so let's go back to Ruby's quest. They stop at an inn, and of course Uncle Crow has been kind of clearing the path for them. And Crow and Raven have a probably long overdue heart-to-heart. Although we really don't know how much they've been in contact with one another over the last however many, years he's been undercover and doing work for Ozpin, because she claims that she's like, hey, I told you Beacon was gonna fall, I told you Ozpin was gonna fail. So it sounds like they've at least had like kind of semi-regular communications.
Yeah.
Or like conversations like this in like seedy inns where
Yeah.
they just sit and drink and talk.
Yeah, I really feel like that's not the first time, or even close to the first time that
But
something
I
like that has
bet
happened.
it's just as belligerent every single time.
Every time.
I feel
No progress.
like that was not a heart-to-heart. That was awful.
Yeah, okay, so yeah,
That was
let's talk
void
about,
to skirt.
Let's talk about Raven for a little bit, because Raven is,
I'm
she's,
so mad at her.
this is the first time we've had like a full-on conversation with her. And, she's not, as Crow puts it, she's not exactly Mother of the Year.
And a winner for Worst Mother of the Year. It's
And
her,
also
100%.
the leader of the group of bandits who ruined Jean's childhood. Like,
Well, more than that, led to an entire village being killed by creatures of Grim.
and probably took out the families of Ren and Nora.
Yeah, that seems pretty likely.
Got me for that conversation, at least about the Grim, is we didn't know the Grim would show up so soon. You knew they were coming.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah,
can't stand
so
there and say,
soon.
oh, we didn't
soon.
think that would happen so quickly. You know that the devastation that you leave in your wake attracts Grim to these already weakened people. You showing up is a death sentence for an entire town.
I'm wondering.
and you're okay with
I'm
it.
wondering if one of the reasons why these nomads are so effective in escaping, the town and being on the run, is if they all have the ability to turn into birds or animals of some sort and just
The
like
void tech that
That's
she
right.
there's
has.
that as well.
Yeah.
For
Like
sure.
the flippin' Organization 15.
Now you're working
Yeah,
at portals.
walking through the world of darkness.
Just to get a little bit away from the thing.
And that's obviously not an everyday thing, because we saw the waitress kind of go, what just
Well,
occurred?
She disappeared like a Grim appears out of the void, which I think brings the mask into question. But I wanted to mention, as you say, you hope that, or these could be the same people that killed Ren and Nora's family. Right as you said that, in the chat, somebody mentioned, I pray the tribe that they're from did not kill their family. And
I think they did.
I think they did.
we're waiting for another family reunion between Ruby and now Raven.
Yeah, and here's the thing: is in this particular context, in this conversation, the very little that we've been given about Raven, I'm not exactly a fan of her either, because she's given us very little reason to like her. But people aren't like that for no reason.
Yeah.
Crow mentions time and again that she has a very skewed perspective of what family is. And this group of bandits probably either, like, they were either born into it, as twins, or they were adopted by this group of bandits. And that's why they came to be their family. And something clearly happened where she had to leave the team of hunters and huntresses that they were a part of and leave her family behind so that she could take up the leadership position and conceivably lead them so that they wouldn't fall apart, or that they wouldn't be taken over by someone potentially even worse or more cruel or more bloodthirsty. I don't know. Like I said, people aren't like that for no reason. People, and she's very defensive about it too.
I wonder if Crow wasn't supposed to be the leader, or if he wasn't supposed to lead along with her, and he kind of went,
I wash my
Bye.
hands of this life.
I'd almost put my bet on them being taken into it as children, or so, you know,
Like
where they've had a
kidnapped,
couple
or
of years.
like their village was destroyed,
Right.
and
So, because I feel like that would kind of explain Crow's, you know,
Disdain,
view of it.
yeah.
Yeah, the way where he's not into it, but she, on the other hand, kind of took completely to it, and you know, there's probably a deeper reason as to that as well.
I mean, maybe somebody like decided to mentor her, and that person became like family, but nobody ever like took to Crow in the same way, or he never took to anybody in that kind of group. I suppose he always
Or-
resented them.
Or possibly they did their bandit thing, they took out a village, and then he saw the grim aftermath, quite literally. Like,
yeah.
seeing
I mean,
what
yeah,
happens
it
to
is-
the other side after you
It is
leave.
entirely possible that it's just something he felt like he grew out of. He's like, you know what? I'm over this lifestyle. I'm going to become a hunter to actually help people instead of murdering them for no reason.
Yeah, but I think if I could put words together today, that would be great. If Raven was part of the team, wouldn't that have made her a huntress?
Exactly. And again, she took the time to go and have a family for a little while, or at least give birth to a child. And did she leave her family so that like her kid wouldn't have to be raised in the same environment that she and Crow were raised in?
It could have also been a situation where it was both of them were, oh, hey, thanks for raising us. We're going to go lead normal human lives. And then in the course of that, there was a huge falling out within the tribe, or something happened.
Every
where it's
time
like,
I think
we
I'm out,
need-
they pull me back in.
Essentially,
Right,
where
something
she's
like
like, oh, they're our family, gotta go help our family, and Crow's all like, no, we have a much better life now. Why should we go back to that? We're actually doing some good. You have a daughter, and she's like, nah, deuces.
Well, here's what I have to wonder. Did Raven want to take Yang with her and Ty say no? Or did she just go, you take the kid, I'm out?
Yeah.
Like, how did that go? Because that, I think, makes a difference for both Raven and Ty.
Yeah, and yeah, it's one of those things where, again, she's so defensive about it, but then she also has this weird rule that she's established for herself where it's like, everybody gets one. Everybody gets one what? Like, so you owe, like, Ty and Yang and, like, all your
Crow,
other
one
cohorts.
drink.
Yeah.
That's it. Done.
It's like, I will save my daughter exactly once, and after that, she's on her own.
Even though
Like,
I have the power to teleport, like, to and from wherever place I want and be able to sense when she's in danger, apparently?
It's not my job to babysit.
Oh, no.
It's not babysitting if it's your kid.
Really weird reference, but it's like Curly from City Slickers. The one thing. If anybody gets that, thank you very much. Very.
I think she got it.
I
Yeah.
love those movies.
I used to watch those all the time.
I prefer the second one, actually, because I watched it first. And it was a treasure hunt, too.
Yeah, Legend of Curly's Gold.
I love that one.
Indigo in the chat says the way Crow questions her about the Spring Maiden makes me think the tribe has her.
That is a good question, because I was like, maybe the Spring Maiden is a member of this tribe, and then I'm like, well, that makes no sense, because it seems like the Spring Maiden, or the maidens in general, were working for Ozpin, but if they were working for Ozpin, why wouldn't they know where all of them were at any given moment?
And what if this tribe started as a way to protect the Spring Maiden? Then instead of protection, it started exerting force.
And this is the first time I think we hear Salem's name. I think in
Spoken.
Yeah, spoken aloud, and again, Raven clearly doesn't know much about the status of the relic, whatever the relic is. But yeah, she's clearly knows more than she's letting on about the Spring Maiden. So my thought process is that Salem at one point was the Winter Maiden. That's my guess. This is mostly predictions. Something terrible happened. She was either stripped of her power or her power got corrupted. And as a result, that kind of ruined the relationship between the maidens and the farmer. And yeah, Autumn was still on their side, but maybe like Spring and
Summer.
Summer, or whoever became Winter or whatever, they all just went, peace, we're out.
God bless Malachroma. There is art in the hashtag.
Oh my god. Yes.
Check this out. Check this out. Look at that.
Like what you
That
see.
is a thing of
Hashtag
wonder
Ruby ABTV.
and
We like
Excuse
it.
me. Hashtag RubyABTV.
And I regret nothing.
Malachroma, you make me so happy.
I was going to say, just like last episode, or first episode, where she made Whitley playing Parcheesi. Thank you, Malachroma.
Oh gosh, that makes me so happy.
Bless you.
Yeah, and thank you.
And an
few people-
Owlgrim, right?
Yeah, a few people have been tweeting us fan art. Somebody tweeted us pictures of Ruby babies, Ruby chibi babies. They're so cute. That was Dr. Jackpot on Twitter. I don't know who did the art. I don't know if they did the art, if they found it somewhere, but it is adorable and I love it. So go check that out on the hashtag if you guys haven't already seen it. Look at
Yeah,
it.
Ruby
So
babies.
just
adorable.
go live in our hashtag. It has wonderful things and a very good community.
Yes,
You guys.
indeed. Okay, so is there anything else we want to talk about before we move on to the world of Remnant?
I love that waitress.
Oh yeah,
no.
I love the way
Good.
like she flirted with him, and then he was just checking out yeah.
No, really
You know.
quickly. Victor Tang in chat says Salem is not the Winter Maiden. Rooster Teeth has confirmed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to link us the article or the interview where they say that would be super.
The journal post.
Yeah, any verification on
The
that. Cite your
waitress,
source.
the waitress looked like one of the competitors from the tournament, from the all-female team.
Oh.
Maybe if they reused a model, like whatever, but it was
Whatever.
Still,
She looked like she was into that.
It's all about that, for sure.
She was down. She was absolutely down.
Like I said, any other final thoughts?
Well, so the way that Raven kind of asked Crow about does Salem have the relic, I saw a theory a couple weeks ago about how there were empty chairs at Salem's table, and brought up the theory of either Crow or Raven being undercover as part of her like kind of posse. And so I didn't take too much stock in it, but that line kind of was like, well,
there's.
Okay.
I have a possible theory about that, thanks to folks in the crowd as well. And apparently, the fact that Salem wasn't the Winter Maiden was confirmed on one of our after shows.
Oh God, I'm a moron.
That's like last season. I can't remember that.
By
God.
Miles and Carrie in the finale, or the 11 and 12.
Well,
Or-
I mean, of course they would say no if it's meant to be a reveal later on. But yeah, guys, I whenever we talk to people that we really look up to, I don't actually hear their responses. I hear an internal ah in my head.
It's so
for
loud,
those of
I
you
can
who
hear
are
it sitting
like,
next to her.
It was on your show. Why don't you remember it, friend? I am on like 5 shows a week. If you expect me to remember literally everything I say in every show,
Also,
no, memory may be the key, but I have broken the lock.
Well, I was going to say, let alone how many Rooster Teeth shows we do.
Yeah.
And the amount of seasons of Red vs. Blue there are, and starting with Camp Camp, and the brain F that was crunch time. We do so much here for Rooster Teeth, let alone all of the other programming that we do. Sometimes stuff slips, and that goes like
It
some.
does.
If we don't make it into a hashtag, I don't remember it. I remember Kevin. Kevin was a hashtag.
and Philip.
I interviewed Robert Englund at the beginning of the year, and somebody asked me what my favorite interview was, and I named a voice actor, and they were like, really? I thought, and you said actually, I thought you would have picked Robert Englund. I was like, was that real? I thought that was a fever dream.
If it was a dream, you probably would have sliced you up a little bit.
True that. All right, let's move on to the world of Remnant Faunus. Oh wait, it looks like you found
I just love the solid true dat.
All right, so let's talk about this world of Remnant. Guys, we finally get some answers about the Faunus, because I was like, I want rules. I want rules for what you can and can't have. Like, how does this work? And I love the way that Crow described it as a kind of roulette. So I want to know, guys, if you got to spin the Faunus roulette, what kind of Faunus would you be?
Oh God, are we talking about what I would like to be, or are we talking about what I would probably
Like, if you got to-
actually end up with given
If
my
you got
luck?
to pull the leveler on that slot machine, what would you hope came up?
Fuzzy ears for the most part. That seems like it would have the easiest upkeep.
Like
Fair
cat
enough.
ears, like Blake has? Okay, that's cool.
Cat, dog, wolf, I'm down.
Oh, cat dog, that would be sweet.
Oh no!
Maybe not.
But you would be alone in the world.
Mark,
That was
thoughts?
bad. No, we're skipping Stacey.
And literally
All right,
attached
Stacey.
at the hip with a sibling.
I didn't realize we were going in a line. Okay, yeah, Stacey, your
Why
turn.
not?
Well, I mean, cat ears are always fine with me. Probably some bunny ears would be pretty cool
Oh,
too.
like
Why not?
velvet. Yeah,
Be
that'd
cute
be
all the time.
great. You'd constantly be adorable.
Right? It's, you
More
know,
so than you already are.
wouldn't have to do
Aw.
anything. Just I have bunny ears. What? No.
Just stay away from Cardin Winchester. That just D-bag. I would
kick him in the face.
if
is he dead?
no, when I talked to Adam
Do
at
we
RTX,
care?
well, a little bit. I thought he could use some redemption, especially in the Attack
It would
of
be
Beacon.
nice to see a character like that grow and change.
Yeah, but when I talked to Adam about it, he was like, I don't expect to see Cardin again. He's like, I haven't seen anything from him. Even like this last season, they apparently just reused efforts from him.
There are more important things than the schoolyard bully.
And he's also
going
been
on.
2 characters at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
So he might even get another one. But if I could choose, it would probably be the closest thing to me, which would just be bear, like brown grizzly bear.
Okay, but what feature?
What she? Oh,
The little nub tail.
no, probably similar to
Bear heads.
Well, probably. I would have the right to bear arms. But like Tuxen, I figure it would probably be a combination of ears and claws.
I don't know if this
Tuxen
would.
didn't have ears though. He just had the claws.
I don't know if this would
Might
be
have wondered.
allowed, given what we've seen and what we haven't seen. I would absolutely love wings. I want to fly. Like, I know that characters basically defy the laws of gravity as is, but I want to fly.
Bird wings or insect wings?
If I could be like the cute, like if I could have
Butterfly?
cute little like butterfly wings
Yeah.
or like very, very quick like wasp wings, I'd be down with that. If not, bird wings all the way.
All right.
Be like, yeah, it'd be great.
So-
And
Sean is now
everywhere.
theorizing, given the genetic lottery, that Blake's dad might be human.
I don't
Because
know.
we didn't
I
see
don't
any
know.
out and out. No, not. He didn't have
Did
any
I make
visible.
that up?
Didn't.
He did not have any visible ears or claws or anything, but we don't know if there's a tail involved.
I mean that would be a great if those 2 people happen to be her parents, then that would be a great or if he happens to be a faunus, then her mom could be human. We just don't know.
And someone saying Komodo dragon faunus. Lethal spit.
Gross.
Oh gosh.
Man.
But we also not only do we get like information on faunus and kind of how politically the White Fang originated. It was by all of the faunus getting shipped down to the equivalent of Australia or
So, like the political equivalent of
Israel,
Israel,
yeah.
and the geographical equivalent of Australia.
yeah, exactly.
So you're
Lot
in a
of-
rough situation
lot of-
coming
Real
and
biz.
going.
There are a lot
Real
of
biz.
World War parallels here, both World Wars, especially with the reference to what is called the Great War, which this is the first time we actually get legit information on it. We've had lots of allusions to it and lots of allusions to the consequences of the Great War, but we've never actually had any information on it. And contrary to like it being a
Popular
war,
assumption.
yeah, the assumption that the Great War was, humanity against the faunus, it was actually the various kingdoms going to war with each other. Let me pull up the notes.
Because
It was,
people are stupid.
it's Vale and Vacuo versus Mantle and Mistral. So again, we all said where we'd go in vacation in the world of Remnant. Who would you guys side with in the Great War?
The V's.
Granted,
Yeah.
we also don't know what started the war. We assume resources and or Atlas just being a jerk.
When we watched this and did our reaction video, I spent a lot of time blaming the Schnee family for the war. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, and I would not be surprised if they dragged, what was it, Mistral? In with them.
Man.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, Mistral, because that was like geographically it was the closest one to them. So yeah.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if that was, well, I'm going to war. Hey, guess what?
You're coming with me whether you like it or
And,
not.
I mean, the Schnee Dust
much.
Company had a huge, they came into Vacuo and robbed it of all of its resources. That could have started the war.
Yeah?
Or it could have been a symptom of a bigger problem.
Yeah.
Like mentioning the geopolitical allusions to real world just sort of made me go, I don't know if I want to side with anybody at this point. And you mentioning we don't know what started the war. Like
Yeah.
I think it's next to impossible to pick
No.
a side. Who would want to pick a side in a war regardless?
Malachroma is pointing out that Volume 2 said that part of the Great War involved the suppression of creativity.
Ah, that's right. So I would want to go with the side that was all about still being creative.
Artists!
Agreed.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, cool.
And evidently the war was about 80 years long, give or take.
Ooh, jeez.
Supposedly.
That's a
I
long time for
want
a
to see
war.
the citation on that.
It's a pretty great war.
Watch, it's on our show again.
Going back to Faunus's Happy French Moo at Alpha K-pop on Twitter mentioned, my OC character is based on myself is a panda Faunus. She likes to eat and sleep a lot.
Sounds
People
good.
in chat making jokes about sloth faunus. Well, I'm already a sloth faunus. Yes. Yes.
I was actually
I'm with
just
ya.
talking to somebody today who like envied the lifestyle of a cat. They were like, you just like lay around, you get pampered, you get to sit in the sun all day, you sleep, you eat. It's the best.
Indoor cat, but what about like
Clarification.
wild kits?
It was 80 years ago, not 80
Okay.
years long.
80 years of war.
Okay, great. Because an 80
gonna
year
say,
old war.
holy cow.
I mean, round up, you got the 100 Years War, basically. So yeah, it's nice to get kind of a little bit of stuff fleshed out on Faunus and the history of Faunus. And yeah, it's really great kind of leading up to our next episode, which we know is about Blake and Son
Menagerie.
finally arriving in Menagerie.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think that's a perfect segue to go ahead and go into predictions very, very quickly. We
I
got to
really
wrap.
liked your transition to give Alexis a chance to hit the music cue. Thanks, Alexis.
As long as you say transition, that's
Love
good.
the light show.
Thank you. So yeah, we're seeing Menagerie, guys. Yay!
We've been building up to this for a while.
Yes. What all do you think is going to happen? Do you think the lovely family reunion is going to be broken up by the White Fang?
Oh, I think there's a reason why Blake's family is on the sea or ends up going to the sea.
Pirates.
Hopefully it's not because their house gets burned to the ground.
Hopefully not. Something that was brought up in chat that sort of made me thinking is the theory about Raven working for Salem, and I don't think that she is, but I think that she will do anything to save her people if the price is high enough. So I think we're going to get a situation where Raven might, near the end, start to work for Salem. Ruby knows all of the crap that has been happening on her journey from Ren and Nora, and there's this huge fight that's about to happen. Yang shows up and says, "Why are you fighting my mom? I'm going to fight you." And we're going to get the sibling fight. Because
I would be very surprised if that was the stance that Yang took.
I think we'd need a couple of episodes of Yang and her mother reconnecting and forming
and manipulating her. Totally.
Yeah, I've seen a theory too where say Raven comes back and kind of is the one to help train Yang and get her back on her feet and back in fighting form. Then maybe that attachment would be
because
believable.
Crow has guilted her like Mother of the Year.
All right, you want me to help?
no.
I'm going to help me instead of everybody else, and we're going to see a Yang heel
I will
turn.
groom her to be a new high-ranking member of our clan.
Yeah.
Jerkwad, bro. I don't know.
Hashtag jerkwad, bro.
I don't know.
Hello, person I made this child with. I'm taking her.
You get bottom shelf because I hate you. Seriously.
It's cheap, but he'll take it.
What? Oh, did you see something interesting?
Something in the hashtag, excuse me. Dexter Castro said, "It's odd. The war was about creativity, but the clean, boring Atlas and the creative Mistral were together?"
That is odd.
So it'll be interesting to see what led to the breakdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
that came
it's
from.
entirely possible that they beat up on Mistral and then said, "You're with us."
Yeah, it's interesting because Mistral is the cultural center of Remnant, so
But that could be what led to Team Funky.
maybe.
Yeah, just a big wide-scale explosion after the war ended, where it established itself again as that cultural center.
That's true. That
Could be.
could have been a backlash from what happened in the Great War. All right. I think that just about does
Well,
it.
I did my prediction, so I feel
okay.
bad.
Let's go.
Well, I guess the only thing I'll say about Menagerie, especially how that World of Remnant ended, I have a feeling we're probably going to see a lot of very angry Faunus in Menagerie. And it's going to be a very interesting dynamic to kind of go into, especially with all that background. It was a completely different point of view about how the White Fang happened than
Exactly.
we've seen before. And it's kind of a completely different side of the story.
I like that. Katie?
I'm just interested in seeing how this turns out. I don't really have predictions on this as far as this goes.
I think that Blake's family is going to have a very interesting reaction to Son. I feel like he's gonna stick it out.
He's the useless one. Bye.
So I feel like that dynamic is going to be a lot of fun, and I feel like for all of Menagerie that we'll get to see, I feel like it will be full of life and full of like. Yeah, but like every now and then you'll see a dark undercurrent and be like, oh, like this is kind of like Mistral, where it's bright and happy on the surface, but like dark. There's like this seedy underbelly underneath.
And as much as I hate the overprotective father trope, like, oh, you're not good enough to date my daughter, meh, so many romantic comedies, I swear to God. I am absolutely down for Blake's dad kicking son around until he shapes up.
Well, I think
I would love that.
based on what we
Get
see
down to funness.
to defeat the
White
humans.
Fang.
Wait, what?
Whoa, hold on.
That is
way too serious.
Hang on, what?
God, I'm writing that parody tonight.
Please do.
Do it.
Can we be in it? Can we be in it?
Maybe, sure.
Yay!
You can be say goodbye to those who knew me.
Yay! But anyway, so talking about overprotective dad, I feel like he's the type of dad that would like do it with a smile, like like I'll kill you, make it look like an accident, but like with smile while he says it.
I have 5 acres and a shovel.
That's what my dad said. Anyway, I think that basically wraps it up for tonight. Guys, thank you, everybody. Oh, yeah, we got really quickly read off some iTunes reviews because it's the best way to let our producers know that you guys like the show that we're putting on, and we're also
And
going
please don't
super
play
late.
that song, Alexis. Please don't.
Yes.
Why do you hate me? Just let me have one thing.
Okay. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
So let me read these first. We have fun and insightful from I cannot pronounce that on the fly. I'm sorry. I did not prep. Each episode's full of laughs, great insights, and observations, and a surprisingly solid prediction rate. Megan's your cheery captain who does a wonderful job guiding the ship. Mark brings great comedic timing and warmth. Katie is the stubborn fire livening things up. I am keeping that. And newcomer Stacey rounds out the group with an even keel. 10/10 would recommend. Greatest RWBY podcast of them all by you, Lucario X. RWBY is an amazing show and as such deserves equally amazing podcasts to talk about it. This is it. This period is period it period. Other podcasts about RWBY feel either forced or boring. On RWBY ABTV, parentheses, alphabet soup, it really feels like just a couple of fans and friends sitting together geeking over the show, and that's exactly what a podcast should be. Well, that's because that's what it is. Not to mention the amazing guest jokes and names for the grim, R.I.P. Philip. Love these guys and girls, love this podcast, keep it going.
Oh, that's
And
wonderful.
go Team ABTV. I love this podcast and the panel's in-depth analysis, a real RWBY podcast for real RWBY fans. We love you guys.
Thank you guys so much. You guys are the best. Okay, we got to get out of here. We've got another show to do later. Thank you guys so much for watching. Katie, where can people go if they want to know where you're getting your head in the game?
All right, I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and YouTube at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. I am also on Snapchat at Kia Prime. I basically live here. Z Nation on Mondays, Star Wars Rebels on Tuesdays, Arrows on Wednesdays. Thursdays alternate between RWBY and Robots in Disguise. So next week it's going to be Robots. Steven Universe is right after this, and I have to say a special thank you to Twitter and Tumblr user Ember Curley, who took what I said during the Red vs. Blue after show to heart, made fan art, and sent me a shirt. I love you. Oh my God. Cackled when I opened the package in studio. People were concerned. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Stacey?
All right, I'm Stacey Shuttleworth. You can find me online on Instagram and Twitter at Stacey Shuttles or all over the web at Nerds Doing Stuff. Got a couple of fun and exciting projects. Mostly I'm making jewelry right now, though.
And in terms of the studio, we are going to be two of the members of a new panel that was announced today. Yuri on Ice is getting an AfterBuzz TV after show starting December 19th, 7 p.m. That is a Monday. It is going to be the two of us, Alexis in the booth, and Emma Fife, friend of the show, also member of Team Psychedelia, which it keeps growing and growing and growing.
At this point, we're two teams.
We can make two teams. So make sure to join us there. If you're watching it for, what is it called? Fan service on the Rooster Teeth show. We're going to go a little bit more in depth, and if you want more of a place to talk about it, please join us December 19th and follow me on Twitter at @MarkBDonica for more information.
Do it!
Oh, and Rooster Team,
it, do
ABTV
it,
Rooster
do
Team
it.
for all of that as well.
Yes, for sure. I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @TheMenguin. That's TheMenguin. I am also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, and I write articles for The Movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks. Be sure to check those out. Thank you guys so much for watching. We love you, and we will see you all in 2 weeks. Woo!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Dust you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only. Do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.